Well, hey! Oh, wow.
Hey! How do you like my reveal?
I like the
Love
reveal.
it.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
I've got better internet today. Reason to celebrate. It's a
So
good
many
day.
so many questions, but like always, hello there, and thank you for tuning in to Dear Future Grandkids Season 3. I'm Jien, still here in Singapore. That's Perci in the Philippines. Where is he? It's a new setup. We'll find out later. And that's Ange in Hong Kong with the same old boring setup. Ange.
Yeah, I'm in a Hong Kong apartment. What can I tell you?
But you know what? We're gonna.
Limited real estate.
Well, maybe just change the angle once in a while. I'm just saying. I'm
There's
just
no
saying.
other angle.
Remember, white to white.
Yeah,
White?
but
Oh, white.
but actually, all 3 seasons, this has been my same background, so I can't talk. But more importantly, we're gonna do things a bit different today. We're gonna try to give you a clue about today's guest. So I'm gonna kickstart it. I'm going to show you books on my bookshelf. That's a clue over there. So I've got my trusted phone over. Let's give this a go.
Oh, cool. So
Nice.
what is this, your lounge?
I think Jen's phone mic is off.
Yeah. To unmute your phone. Nice lounge.
Nice lounge though.
Come over here. Right, let me just show you the first one.
Oh,
So no
wow, of
surprises
course.
there. You can tell that, I like
Not
my
too much of a sports
autobiographies.
fan, are you,
I
really?
love football, tennis. Obviously, I support Manchester United.
Red or
Cantona,
dead.
Roy Keane, David Beckham, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Alex Ferguson. But also tennis, got a bit of Michael Jordan in there. As you move over here, there we go.
It's
Again,
still more football.
more football, tennis, Bjorn Borg.
Oh my
I've got the
goodness,
Lance
you really
Armstrong
love your
autobiography as well.
Yeah.
you
Sneakers.
love your sports, don't you? It's so
Big fan.
funny.
And what about over here? This is again autobiographies, but all about music. Almost all about music or Rob. No, that's Sarah's,
Wow.
it's not mine. Depeche Mode,
That's so-
Michael Stipe and R.E.M., Robbie Williams, Elton John, Andrew Ridgeley. Sorry, love Wham.
That's so interesting.
And look, even more, except for the Parker's Wine Buyer's Guide. More books over here as well. Billion Dollar Whale, Sarawak Report. I'm still a Malaysian boy at heart. But here's something for you guys out there, especially the young ones. Check out this section. DVDs.
Oh,
DVD.
collecting dust.
Do you
in
know
the
what
corner.
DVDs are?
Yes.
They actually play images and sound.
Yeah, you
Sometimes
slap,
they come in
you
two
slap the whole
discs,
box
you get
in.
specials.
No, they don't.
So which one of those autobiographies would you recommend if I wasn't particularly into sports, but it was just a good read? Which one would you recommend?
If you're not really into sport, but the history of talking about really involved in sport, I would say read this one. It's Shoe Dog,
Oh,
Ooh.
The Nike
autobiography
guy.
of Phil Knight, the creator of Nike.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. It gives you the background of how he got started, and also how influential he was with sport. And Nike was just all about American sport, but later on it moved on to football as well. So yeah, that's it for me. What
That's
about
so
you,
interesting.
Tess? I'm
That's
excited
so
to find out where
interesting.
you are.
Yeah, Percy, come on. You're not at home, right?
No, I'm not at home. I'm
Let's
at
see
the
your
Dear
tour.
First office. Let's see if I can give you a tour with my phone.
There.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay. I don't know if you can. I don't know what you can see.
Yeah, we can
So,
see.
yeah. I go first office.
That's a big office.
It just looks big. Our shelf have a lot of
Look at
awards.
look at the awards, guys. Look.
But at the bottom we have a lot of games. Yeah, that's what we do.
Oh,
Oh,
One.
nice, nice.
more
Okay.
awards.
We got one award that probably not a lot of people have. We have an award from North Korea. Or one of our films.
No way, from North Korea.
Yeah, it's North Korea. And it's an LGBTQ film, so I'm not sure if they would want to award it.
Wow.
Percy, you gotta check if there's any surveillance products in there, or you're being tracked or being watched.
Actually, can you just say hi to everybody there?
Hi, Kim.
So yeah, this is the office. I'll just give you a quick tour.
I love it.
Nice.
So how far away is it from where you live?
A kitchen.
Oh, you have a full-on
Yes.
kitchen.
Yeah, it's actually an apartment that we turned into an office. And I don't know if you can see, we have a lot of electric fans because our company has a lot of fans.
Oh, very good. Fantastic, Percy.
Punchline there.
Dun, dun,
How
dun,
far is it? It's about 30 minutes away.
Okay.
Okay.
I love
Yeah,
it.
the small room houses all of our creative team before. About 25 people used to fit here. Now, I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
Oh, so when you write
Nice.
scripts and you brainstorm, so when you're writing a movie script, is everyone sitting around the table or typing
Yeah.
away kind of thing?
If you can see, the whole room is filled with whiteboards.
So all the ideas come from that room, more or less.
And a lot of doodles.
Oh, doodles.
A lot of tic-tac-toe
Nice.
over there.
Nice.
I love it.
A great insight into the Ideas First Company office. Lovely.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
This is where the magic happens, so to speak.
Great. Do you want to see
Oh
mine?
yeah.
You want to see mine?
Yeah.
Right, guys.
Check out your bookshelf.
Right.
Let's see.
Are you all able to see? Are you all able to see?
Yep. Okay. There you are.
All right. So I guess the first thing I should say is my bookshelf dominates my very small Hong Kong-sized apartment, and my wonderful sister. Hang on, let me try and find. My wonderful sister sneaks in. She's got a copy of my keys, and she sneaks in and tidies up my apartment every now and again because I'm a bit of a slob. And
That's why it's so
colour-coded
clean.
them. Alison,
Yeah.
who was our guest, so you can see my
Yes,
bookshelves
yes.
are color-coded, very fancy.
Nice.
And let me see. Let's go over here.
That's a big
I've got
apartment.
there.
You
This is white
lie.
section, this is red section.
That's a big apartment.
We've got
Yeah.
this over here, and I think interesting thing about my bookshelf is I haven't read most of the books on my shelf because the books that I do read I tend to give away.
Okay.
Huh.
So I don't have many books that I've actually read, and I have a lot of visitors staying at my place all the time, and they just leave books here, and I just never get around to reading them. I always say I will. And the interesting thing is I'm really into shelf help.
Oh, we lost Ange.
We lost. Look,
We
she's
lost
taken.
Ange's phone. But
She's,
we have
she's.
her chair.
We have a chair. She's almost taken over you, Percy, for having bad Wi-Fi
I
connection.
know.
You
I'm
know this
backing
is
it up,
100%
backing it up.
live.
I have no idea what happened. But anyway, yeah, that was my book tour of books I haven't read, and I keep saying I'll get round to it. And I aspire to live like a monk, so I'm hoping to actually get through all the books and have a completely empty bookshelf one day. Because I'm a real minimalist wannabe.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not there
you
yet.
are. Well, Ange, thanks for sharing that, and Percy, thank you for sharing and showing us your lovely offices, where all the ideas generate from. So, all of you watching, perhaps maybe you have an idea who our guest is, what he does for a living. So, without further ado, let me do the introduction. Our guest today is Singapore's best-selling author, selling more than 300,000 copies of his books. His works on Singapore, from Notes from an Even Smaller Island to Saving a Sexier Island, Notes from an Old Singapore, are amongst the most popular titles in the last 20 years. His Abbey Rose and the Magic Suitcase series of illustrated children's books are eco-adventures about a young girl on a mission to save endangered animals and protect their fragile homes. Humphreys is also writing the animated TV series. His new children's book series, Princess Incognito, currently has 4 titles: A Royal Pain in the Class, A Nightmare at the Museum, Wrong Time to Fight Crime, and Trapped After Dark. A 5th title, Running Out of Friends, will be released in November this year. A popular columnist, Humphreys also writes extensively for newspapers and magazines in Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, and the UK. He co-hosts a breakfast show for Money FM in Singapore. He also gives talks, lectures, and workshops on writing, publishing, and journalism at kindergartens, schools, colleges, and universities across Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our show, Neil Humphreys.
Yay!
I'm speechless. Jen,
Hey, Neil!
Neil.
Jen,
Well-
I've known you for 10 years. You have never been that nice before.
I I agree with
That's
you.
point number one. Point number two. Where's my books on your shelf?
Yeah, Jen. Come on, Jen.
There you go.
Neil, you know,
5 to choose from.
I know Neil, but you know what? I've got 3 kids, so I couldn't afford to buy any more books. So if you could send some my way, that'd be perfect.
All right, I'll take care of you. But that was a very nice intro. Thank you very much.
Well deserved.
Aw.
That's you, and that's your career.
Neil, it's so great to have you on the show. And of course, you're an author, so we couldn't carry on with the show without seeing a little tiny tour of your bookshelf. It looks like you've got a real man cave going on there. So how about you show us a few of the books on your shelf?
This is the bit where I get scared because I've seen you guys with the tech.
Don't worry, you can't be as bad as us. You can't be as bad as us.
Right, so I'm going to ask your wonderful guy to switch to the phone.
Yep.
Look
We're
at
in.
Wow.
that.
Oh,
There you go.
So
Seamless.
switch microphones, and I'll just mute mine on here.
Pro. Look at the pro.
look at the pro, such a pro.
Right,
Yeah.
so you want to see my books? Okay.
Yes,
let's
yes,
restart. Right.
yeah.
Being a good Singapore resident, there's all my
Lee Kuan
Singapore
Yew. Yeah.
titles, just in case anyone from the government is watching. That's actually the real Singapore story. No, I'm not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
These are some of my older collectible stuff, some of my wife's. This is my classics.
classics.
I'm trying to read them with my daughter. We've done quite a bit of Dickens, Jane Austen.
Jane
we've
Austen,
done some.
classic.
Black Beauty is one of my mother's.
I
I've
love-
called my wife my mother. My wife's favourites, not my mother's favourites. So she's just disowned me. These are my wife. She loves her Jodie Picoult.
Yep.
Okay.
International bestsellers. There's my fellow. She's on the publisher. We share a publisher, Catherine Lim,
Nice.
the doyen of Singapore publishing. Up there is more of my history, pop culture books. You'll see some Beatles books and some movie books and Oasis. And down here, now I like this one. Now let me show you some quirky ones down. Now down here, they're my books. Shameless plug. Okay, I like to collect retro things. So this, for example, is the Big Match from 1977. This is from 1975. I keep weird things like the A-Team Annual from 1986.
Yes.
Classic.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of pop culture. I buy things online. For example, I've got the original paperback of Taxi Driver from 1976.
Is that worth any money? Is that worth something?
I bought it for 50 cents in New York, so probably not. But but I like cult classics like Mad Max 2. I try to buy the original stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
And the screenplay of Usual Suspects. I buy things like Roger Moore's diary on his first James Bond movie, Live and Let Die,
Wow.
from 1973.
Wow.
So I've got lots of things. This one I particularly like, right? This is
Oh, Jaws.
Oh.
Yeah.
not only is it original for our film friends, it predates the film. You see there now a major film, so it's not the movie poster. It predates the movie slightly. I bought this. Now work this out. I bought this the day my daughter was born, so I don't know what clue that is. I went down to the hospital little shop they have. She was born in Australia, and I went down to get some flowers. But they also have second-hand books, right, for patients who are there for a long time. So I went back to my wife, who'd just given birth, with a bunch of flowers and an original paperback to Jaws.
Brilliant. I'm not sure how appreciative she was about that, I think.
And guys, if I know you do, you know you're publishing. This is an original from 1974.
That must be worth something.
Yeah.
It predates the film by a year,
Yeah.
and I bought it for, I think, 50 cents.
I mean, what people don't realise is how different the book is. It's so different from the movie.
Well, for the movie buffs, the Richard Dreyfuss character, whose name escapes me, he has an affair with the chief's wife in the book.
Yeah, it's really different. It's a good book.
Scandalous.
See? There's my obsession with Jaws
Wow,
right
I
there.
love Jaws.
Jaws.
I even bought a lunchbox for Jaws.
Lunchbox.
So
Neil, if you had to pick one or two books, if your house was burning down or something, you had to pick one or two. And I know yours are amazing, but if you had to pick one or two others, which ones do you think you'd grab before you leg it out there?
I'm fortunate enough to meet a lot of the authors through book festivals, so I like this one because it's signed by the author. And
Wow.
I'm a big fan of the film anyway. So
Yeah.
I've got a lot of signed copies, and I don't want to one-up Jien, but I will anyway.
Surprise! No, you haven't got a signed
So-
one from him.
It's so
I
easy
do,
to
yes.
one up
I
Jen.
can't get it out. Okay, right, here we
wanna
go.
come
So
out.
this is Alex Ferguson.
Oh, respect.
Let me just see if I can open it very
No.
briefly. So I know there's a lot of Man U fans out there.
So you
There
met
you go.
him.
It's signed.
It's signed by
Excellent.
Alex Ferguson.
That's
You met
not-
him when he
I've
signed it.
interviewed Alex Ferguson a few times. That's not when he signed it. I mean, one of the
Oh, right.
advantages of being an author is, you do occasionally get given signed copies. So,
Nice. Right, I can't do the I can't do the show anymore now. It's done. He's
It's
one up
done
me.
now, Ben.
It's done. It's finished.
You had to bring the book out, didn't you? So you left me with no choice. Books
great.
books I would keep. Right, I'd keep Bobby Moore because he was the World Cup captain of
Captain.
England and West Ham, my team.
Yep.
So I would keep that because it's a part of my childhood. But from a writing point of view, which is a very good question you just asked me, Ange, it's actually 2 books. Where is it? Okay, this one. Okay, I'll do this one first. So this is Man and Boy by Tony Parsons.
Right.
Now, this was a phenomenon in the UK. The book came out about 20 years ago, 21 years ago. And it's kind of, I don't know the genre for it, but whatever the equivalent of man lit is. But it was a story about, a single parent raising a boy. And it was a real tearjerker. And what was interesting about it, A, it's very funny. And B, it wasn't often that a book of this nature was written from the male perspective. So I like that. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you that is fast forward 18 years, and Tony Parsons, the author, he was invited to the Singapore Writers Festival. So I got in touch with him. I said, I don't care what it is. I don't care what you want me to do. I'll do anything as long as you let me sit on a panel with Tony Parsons, because he's one of my favorite authors. So they let me interview him in the Arts House in Singapore.
Nice.
And while I'm doing it, it felt like a call to arms, because he was telling me how he had this mid-career crisis and he felt like he was repeating himself book after book. So he changed genres completely and went into crime fiction. And he inspired me so much that I wrote this book, Bloody Foreigners. And if you look carefully at the top,
No.
No.
He gave you a quote for the book.
so it kind of went full circle, because I got back in touch with him because he enjoyed the panel discussion. And I said, the chat we had really inspired me to get my backside into gear. And he was pleased about that. He even agreed to read, which is unheard of. This guy's a multi-million selling author. I'm nobody.
Yeah.
And he even agreed to read the proofs of it. He gave me some suggestions, which I took. And then he kindly gave me a cover quote. So I suppose if I was going to pick one, it would probably be Man and Boy. Yeah.
That's a fantastic story.
Nice.
Thank you for that tour.
Great stuff, Neil.
I haven't shown you anything yet. Don't you want to see my cool stuff?
You showed us loads. There's more?
You've got.
Well, there's my sad. I don't make movies like my friend there, but I have movie-shaped posters of my.
What's sad about
book.
What's sad about that? That's your book.
And, again, my
Joy.
Jaws obsession, my 3D box. The best British gangster movie ever made, Get Carter, 1971. Rocky, which I'm slightly obsessed with as well.
I just
We
watched
shared
that again recently. So good.
Well, thank you for sharing that picture, because I had this poster in our kitchen in Australia, and I said to my daughter, we will climb the Rocky steps in Philadelphia by the time you are 5. And we did.
Wow.
All right.
And you just shared a picture of it.
She was thinking, Dad.
Collectibles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes.
I'm slightly obsessed with the Planet of the Apes as well. And I have more in the living room. And I saw your DVDs. I'm going to one-up you again, Jien. VHS.
What? VHS?
Godfather.
No, VHS?
Why would you keep that?
Do you still have a VHS player at home?
I do.
Is it working?
I do. I kept
yes.
one.
I never use it, but I have it. And I just kept my favourites. I mean, there's many others, but all my classic movies. I've even got the Godfather trilogy.
What's that thing that
No.
says 50? What's the thing that says 50,
50,
above
50.
the
Oh, that's
Planet of
all
the
the
Apes?
James Bond movies on Blu-ray.
50?
Ooh.
There's 50 James Bond movies? No.
50 years. I think that was 50
Oh,
years.
50 years.
It
Oh.
is.
And there you can see I've kept the Beatles anthology on VHS and all West Ham's FA Cup finals. Sadly, there are only 3.
I was going to say one VHS will more than suffice.
And I've got some DVDs as well, like our friend Jien.
Nice. Nice.
But it's quite neat. It's quite tidy.
Tidy.
Well,
I love this store.
you said you're in Hong Kong, I'm in Singapore. Space is a premium, right? So
Yeah.
I had to have a designer sort of design this within an inch of its life, so I could
Yeah.
fit everything. I have even more in the living room. My whole living room is devoted to memorabilia and crap and, you know, stuff like that. Oh, I must show you this. Last thing, look at that. Original
What's that?
1964 Beatles cards.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's
That's the
worth
sort of stuff I
fortune.
collect.
Yeah, that must be
Nice.
worth a fair penny now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of the stuff in the living room I've got like Beatles original singles and albums and other Beatles memorabilia, but I don't know.
That must,
Yeah.
that must be worth a bit.
Yeah, I mean, for you, it's a passion. It's not about collecting for the sake of collecting. Yeah.
No.
Wow.
My wife can't stand most of it. There you go. Yeah.
Thanks, Neil. That was
I think
very,
it's great.
very thorough. Thank you very much.
An old school phone. I love that old
Yeah,
school
that
dial,
old
like
school-
bling, bling, bling phone.
It's called a
Yeah, can you hear me?
rotary
Can you hear
phone.
me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
did.
can hear you
All
now.
good.
That was
Oh, good.
great.
I
That was
can't hear you.
fantastic.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, got
Yeah, I
it.
can hear you.
All
Okay,
good.
yeah. The phone doesn't actually work. It's not
Okay.
plugged into anything, but I just like it.
Yeah.
Keep it on the desk.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice prop. Hey Neil, so okay, we're back to the show. The show is called Dear Future Grandkids, and have you ever thought of yourself as a grandfather?
No.
No. Well, we tried. We tried to imagine you as a grandfather. So
Look at you.
look
Oh,
at
wow.
you.
Look at you there. Look at that. Oh,
Fantastic. I look disturbingly like my grandmother.
Hey, rocking the beard there, rocking the beard.
You look like a wizard there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take that. It's better than my grandmother.
That's true. That's true. We're going to jump into some quick fire questions now for you, Neil.
Sure.
In 3 words, describe yourself.
Hang on, let me hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
yeah. All
Okay,
good.
sure.
In 3 words, describe yourself.
Loud, energetic, empathetic.
Nice. Where were you born?
North London, actually, in the hospital opposite Karl Marx's tomb in Highgate Cemetery.
Yes, I know. It's a stunning cemetery. It's really
I was
lovely.
born
and I
in
know.
Islington Hospital, North London, which I brought back in my new novel. Yeah.
Nice. And how long have you lived in Singapore?
I came 20th of November 1996, so that's now 25 years ago this year, but there was a 5-year gap in the middle in Australia. Altogether, 20 years in Singapore.
Wow.
Wow. Neil, has a teacher or any person changed your life? And how?
So many. I mean, there's another, let me just bring it up if I can grab it quickly. There's another author here. I mentioned Tony Parsons, but this author is important because you're talking about grandkids and grandchildren and so on. I read Sue Townsend when I was about 12 or 13. And it was the first time I realized that A, you could be funny, you could write books that made people laugh, and B, this sounds really stupid, you didn't have to be yourself, because she wrote this book, a seminal book called The Secret Diary of Adrian Mole, aged 13 3/4. I see you nodding. It's very famous.
I
all
love
around
that
the
book.
world.
Yeah.
And I read it at the perfect age when I was about 12 or 13, a fraction younger than him. And I identified with it. You know, he talks about puberty and having hairs in weird places and measuring certain parts of his body that he's obsessed with, and all these fun teeny things that you go through. And then I had this epiphany. It sounds obvious now, but when you're a kid it's not, that this teenage boy, Adrian Mole, who was clearly me, the author was a middle-aged woman. I couldn't get my head around that. You know, how can a middle-aged woman know about boys and their obsession with puberty and things growing and their dangly bits and all this stuff? And so it was like this. I can do that. You know, I can do that. I could be anybody. I could become an 11-year-old schoolgirl using. That sounds weird out of context. But you know what I mean. But I could be an 11-year-old schoolgirl, loosely based on my daughter's life. So that was like a door opening for me. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing insight. You know what? I actually respect to you guys who write books, because you guys really immerse yourself in a character that when we read it, believe that it's 100% you. I mean, even more than us going into film or TV series. But you guys, the way you write everything, it convinces us that you are the characters. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a great point, Percy, actually, because I don't know about you, because I know when you work in TV and film, you're in pre-production, post-production, you're probably juggling different projects at the same time. It's very hard for a writer to do that. They say, do you work on 2 or 3 different books at once? No, I don't, because the voices are different. I can't be an 11-year-old schoolgirl in the morning and then be a serial killer in the evening. I can't get into that headspace, you know. So, you know, the protagonist in this book is a bipolar, misanthropic, rude, vulgar Chinese detective who swears every other word and hates authority and is completely belligerent, but he's brilliant at his job. He's kind of me, but without the Chinese bit. And so I have to be in that headspace for the duration of the book. I mean, it's one thing to do the odd column, that's fine, or do the odd radio show, that's fine. But I can't be him and then in the morning go back to 11-year-old girl. The vocab, the dialogue, the headspace, everything is different. Everything is different.
So, okay, just let's go through a regular day for you. What gets you going in the morning? You just jump in and start writing, or is there something else that gets you started?
Clearly, you don't spend enough time with writers, because no.
I'm married to one.
No, writers and journalists are at their best when they've got a gun held to their head. We procrastinate. Everything is infinitely more interesting than the next chapter, right? Even washing the dishes, right? That crappy movie that you've got no intention of watching normally on Cinemax or whatever it is, it's suddenly really riveting. Suddenly it's Citizen Kane, right? Because you don't want to write. So, but on a serious note, and I say this to students, it does take tremendous willpower to be your own boss, knowing that I'm in this room, most of the time alone during the day. If I don't write the chapter that day, not going to mean anything in the grand scheme of things, so I'll either do it or I won't. So I tend to be like a slow wind-up clock. I get going slowly. I have the cereal, I wash the dishes, and then there'll be this sort of 3, 4, 5 hour period of intense productivity, hopefully, and then you're kind of done. I mean, I do other work as well, but I'm talking about writing books. And it's, I've done the regular 9-to-5 jobs and blue collar jobs, white collar jobs. You know this yourself. It's not like that. You can't punch in and punch out a clock. That's not how creative work works, as you know. But you just do the best you can, yeah, and hope that inspiration strikes.
Or deadlines. My husband always says deadline is his muse.
Always.
Yeah, that's
well, here's the thing. I mean, Jen will know this. He's done things in sports with me. I'm at my best when I've covered the World Cup in Brazil and I was there for 6 weeks, and it's 5-6 stories a day, and it's non-stop. It's story, interview. I go on pure adrenaline for the 6 weeks. I never get sick. I can go on minimal sleep, eat on the move. The second I get back, I get sick. Every time. Every time. It doesn't matter how long the period of intense productivity is. I never get sick. I never get ill. I'm absolutely fine. Second it stops, That's it.
Yeah.
So you're right. I need that deadline. I need the
You need a
motivator.
deadline.
Yeah.
On a more philosophical question, I guess, is there anything that you are afraid to do?
You mean work-wise or?
Anything?
Oh, where do you start? Sometimes, a serious question. Sometimes you're scared to step out of your comfort zone, especially if you do what I do. I became, luckily, fortunately, I became well known quite quickly in Singapore for writing humor columns and humorous social commentary books about Singapore, like this one here, for example. I wrote several of these books.
Yeah.
That I'm very fortunate. They sold very well. As you can see, I'm fully dressed there in the Marina Bay Sands Infinity Pool. And I'm told, side note, that only 2 people were allowed at that time to do a photo shoot in the MBS Infinity Pool.
Yeah,
Me
I know this one.
and Katy Perry.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. At that time, she was in Singapore. Yep.
It's probably changed since then. I mean, probably hundreds of them. But yeah, so I had that run of 5 or 6 books. So meeting Tony Parsons and having that bravery to completely switch genres and move into crime fiction and essentially start all over again. And it's the same with the children's books. I had a run of children's books that were, the illustrated children's books. They did okay. So do I stay with that forever, or do I try a new genre and start again? Every single genre is different. Every single voice is different. Every tone, style of writing is different. That is the most challenging thing, stepping out of your comfort zone. And now I'm writing for TV as well in Singapore. I've written 10 episodes for this children's TV series, which is a whole different thing again, as you know, Percy. And what's tough with that, and this is very difficult, is I'm being told what to do by people who are half my age. And that old uncle instinct is like, I've been writing books since you were in diapers. But I haven't been making television. I haven't been making television since I was in diapers. They've been making television. They've got the TV and degrees and experience and that I don't have. So when they say to me, I don't know, I'm making it up, Neil, you just can't send our hosts to the moon. It won't work. And they start talking logistics and production and cost budget. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you can't get a kid to, Absal from MBS? Why can't you? Just put a rank on him and do it, So, again, stepping out of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to talk about your passions, and I know this, your favorite football team is West Ham United, and you've got the FA Cup final videos and things like that. Why are they your favorite team?
Well, because they're local. It's not because they're any good, is it? I say this to all Singaporeans and Southeast Asians generally. Support Man U, support Liverpool, sure, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, whoever. But they don't need your support as much as the local teams do. They'll be just fine with or without you. So I've always, they were my local team. I grew up in East London. West Ham is the team of East London. So yeah, and it's kind of a law in that part of the world. If you're from the sort of working class background that I am, your father just passes it down to you. You support West Ham, right? Okay. It's like, if you don't, you're adopted. So it's a law. You just have to follow the team that your father did and your grandfather did, and which of course explains why my daughter doesn't support West Ham, because she doesn't listen to a word I say. Yeah, she supports Tottenham for no other reason than she thinks their goalkeeper is very handsome.
Oh, that's a good reason. It's like uniforms. Yeah. Like,
so, there you go.
I know friends who like red, so they support Man U or Liverpool, right?
Exactly.
It's a nice colour. Why not? It's too funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Neil, if you lost your job and I gave you $10,000 to start over, what would you do?
Wow. And I can't go back to the old job.
Just right now, you lost your job, and I gave you
Right.
10K to start over. Well, what would you do? Would you need it?
I'm an author, so I'll always need it. Anyone in the creative industries will always need it. That's very interesting. If money wasn't an object, it wasn't really an issue, I would probably do something environment related. I don't necessarily know what that would be. Work for NGO or an agency. I would write for, I don't know, WWF or Jane Goodall or Greenpeace or whatever, because that is something I'm moving towards doing more anyway in my books and my writing. And we're not here to get all preachy, but our children have or will inherit a bit of a basket case of a planet, thanks to us, really. So it would probably be something along those lines. Maybe working with ACRES, which is an animal rights group in Singapore. Something like that, yeah. I think when you get old and your beard starts to turn grey, you do start to think a little bit more about legacy, which is a really sort of keen thing to talk about. But you do start to think, right, I'm 46. If I'm lucky, I got 10, 15 more years of doing what, and so I do spend a lot of time thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's many reasons why Dear Future Grandkids exists. We were brainstorming ideas, and I think we just naturally also thought about legacy. It just, without us going, let's think about a show that ticks off legacy. No, it just naturally came to us, because I think you're right. We've reached that certain age too, us three. We've lost people close to us in the last couple of years, all of us. And I think it just sat in our subconscious. So I absolutely hear you when you talk about thinking about your future and thinking about what it's all for. Yeah, I relate to that a lot. So Neil, now we're going to give you a few seconds to grab. You've got a million things in your house. So we want you to grab just 2 things from your work or your career or your travels that have some special meaning for you. So off you go get them, bring them back here.
Okay,
yeah, just
2 things.
Just
and I'm gonna apologize for, I don't know what happened there. My internet connection, Percy has passed it on to me. That for the first time after 3 seasons, I totally lost everyone, and I thought, what happened there? Did we lose the whole show? No. It was just me. Sorry. Oh, it's a nice collage.
Well, this was because I know you told me this, but I forgot this question. So I just this is every year we talk about legacy and whatever. Mother's Day, Father's Day. We don't buy each other gifts or anything. We always make something, big or small.
Oh,
Nice.
Like this year, my daughter made me that.
that's so cute.
That
That's
was a Father's Day
lovely.
present. She made me
That's
for that.
lovely.
Every year she makes me different Father's Day presents. That was
Oh, that's so great.
when she was barely scribble.
What a great kid.
So every year, but I tell you something, my wife is a kindergarten teacher, so she's arts and crafty anyway. So it's getting bloody harder every year, because she'll give me this wonderful T-shirt with paintings on it, and so this was the one I did, I think, last year, and it's just a collage of me and my daughter. Every picture is
beautiful.
So
Can't put a price on that. That is better than anything you could buy.
And so that's one. And the theme of childhood and how things are shaped by your childhood. It's a bit of a silly one, but I just love. Where is it? I've gone now. Oh yeah, here it is. Probably this is be one of them.
West Ham.
I had this, getting sentimental. I had this when I was about 10 or 11. It's extraordinary. I still have it. It's a money box, and it amazes me that it hasn't smashed.
Yeah.
All over the world. I've lost the hole, but other than that, it's still okay. And it was given to me not long after my parents divorced, I think. And it's just one of the oldest things I have from my childhood, and it's one of the happier memories of my childhood. I mean, West Ham was still crap; they're always crap, but I have very happy memories of this in my childhood bedroom. So when you get older, it tends to be slightly more sentimental stuff rather than anything that's got financial value.
Nice.
I like them.
That's lovely, and the man cave you're in now. Obviously, you showed us a lot of things that you're proud of. You created over the years, but you know, here at Dear Future Grandkids, we want to see the other side of our guests. You know, we're nosy around. So, is there in this room, I guess, or anywhere in your house, is there like a corner of shame? Like everything looks good now, but there's a corner where you go, your pile of rubbish is there, your dirty clothes, or there's a shameful drawer where you have pictures of Boyzone or Take That, you know, secretly. I don't know.
Well,
It's not your apartment, Jen.
Yeah, your apartment. Jen.
My that's out in the open, guys. that's on my shelf.
yeah, it's not shame, but it's more embarrassment.
Okay.
Because I can't seem to stop, and even my wife is slightly fed up with it. And this is, you know, I have this disturbing, lifelong infatuation with the Incredible Hulk. Now, that is okay when you're 4 and 5 years old,
Okay.
but it hasn't left me, and I continue to buy everything I possibly can related to the Hulk, things I don't need or even want.
Oh my goodness!
There's a whole DVD collection of that.
And I haven't even finished yet. Right?
Oh my, you got a box set.
But it's all old. The 1980s.
That's the TV series with Bill Bixby.
Yeah.
Yes,
Are you into the modern one?
See, that's why I think you're the real deal.
And
Bill
Lou
Bixby.
Ferrigno. Yeah.
If you'd have said Ed Norton or Mark Ruffalo,
Yeah.
this all would have ended.
Yeah, exactly.
I like those guys. I'm just kidding. I like those guys. But so I had it because when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I've even got these. Look, let me show you. Playing cards, trading cards from 1977,
That's the
1978.
original, yeah.
Original that my mother kindly bought for me on eBay, because that's another thing I do. You talk about legacy. I have this thing now with my family. If you're going to buy me anything for Christmas or birthdays, I don't want anything. I don't need anything. There's enough junk in the world right now. We're overpopulated with junk. We need to be thinking about sustainability.
Says
So-
the guy with all this stuff.
Let me finish. So if you're going to give me anything, it's got to be reused gifts.
Oh,
So
okay.
none of this has been. This is secondhand. This was
Ah.
secondhand. All of the books I showed you, obviously, were secondhand. The Jaws and the Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
So that poster on the wall is secondhand. So most of my gifts now, if people, you know, family, it tends to be secondhand stuff. Yeah, reused stuff.
Let's see that bobblehead again, because what I don't understand about that bobblehead is, like, that's the worst squatty position. Like, why would anyone design a toy?
This is the Hulk meets Arbeng.
yeah.
On the
He's
MRC.
squatting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Squatting.
Just don't make me angry. You won't like
This
me when
was
I'm
a
angry.
$5 gift that my
It
wife
looks-
picked up in a
it looks
market
like it.
in Australia, and it was so bad, so awful.
You had
that
to
I
get
to
it.
have it. I had to
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason for that is, again, we talk about childhoods and that. Incredible Hulk, the original, came out when I was about 4 or 5. And if anyone hasn't seen it, yes, it hasn't got the whiz-bang CGI and all the rest of it. A, I still believe it holds up. B, I think the storylines are actually a lot deeper than people think they are.
Yeah.
Like about the duality of man and this kind of stuff. Goes much deeper than the silly Marvel stuff. And C, Incredible Hulk, of all the Marvel stuff, you'll notice, Percy, is actually a genuine human tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a superhero quality or skill, power that he doesn't actually want. He's the only one who doesn't want his power, and he spends his whole life trying to get rid of it. And when I was a kid, I used to cry. My mum tells me after every episode, because if you watch it, look on YouTube
Oh,
after.
tragic.
Yeah.
This haunting
He always
theme.
has to leave.
Music at the end. Yes, the music at the end. Of
Yeah,
course.
no,
Theme. Yeah.
The lonely man that plays
Yeah.
as he has to leave every town because of his secret. I used
No,
to
he's the
cry
most
every episode.
relatable.
I still do it. I'm 46.
Superhero, because all of us are like Incredible Hulk. There's a side of us that don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. That actually applies to all of us, right? And then we regret smashing stuff or doing stuff or saying.
And
stuff
Percy, as you
afterwards.
know, as a fellow writer and filmmaker, You know, writing dialogue is hard. You know, that line, "Don't make me angry, you wouldn't like it when I'm angry," that's in the popular consciousness now. And that was written for the TV pilot. And they asked him to take the line out because they thought it was so cheesy. And he says, no, Bill Bixby just plays it dead straight. Doesn't play it for laughs. And if you've seen it, they played it in every single credit after. Everybody who speaks English and maybe doesn't around the world knows that line. 45 years later.
Yeah, I must say that's one of the best lines on TV. Now, I'm going to segue to something, but I think I want to challenge you to something related to the Hulk. So this is the point where we know that you've got a lot of talents. You know you're great at writing and everything, but we want to know if you've got a pointless skill. And at first, I just want to know what your pointless skill is, and then I'll go back to the Hulk.
Well, a skill is probably a stretch, but at family gatherings in the good old days when we could still see family, we would always get out our stupid skills, and mine was double jointed thumbs.
Oh, so, party time, party trick.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
That's so weird.
And my wife had to one up me because when I first met her, she's listening in the other room. This was my talk about a bad sort of chat up line. I said, on our first date or whatever, look what I can do.
Well, it worked.
Barely. Yes, but only because she went, can you do that in so you have double jointed thumbs? Yes. She went, I can do it in all my fingers. And then the same thing in all 8 fingers that I can only do.
And you knew it was love right there.
You knew it was meant to be.
8 plus 2 equals 10.
I thought you were going to do the Bill Bixby, that change of eyes for the Hulk. When
I only do that on full moon.
There you go.
The American Werewolf in London. That's
wrong show.
Yeah, wrong show. Nice.
Now, Neil, so you mentioned your wife. Tell us more about your family. Where when did you meet your wife?
Wow. I met my wife in what we then called sixth form college, which is now year 12. So the end of school when you're doing A levels. And in England, in a rough neighborhood that I grew up in, we went to the same school. So we're like childhood sweethearts.
Oh.
And she tells the story. This is the early 90s. This is the early 90s. So bear that in mind. That I had this luminous yellow shell suit. If people remember shell suits, they were these things that look like they were made of plastic. Right? I don't know. What is the material? Nylon? I don't know. But this luminous, bright yellow, I look like a parachuter shell suit in the common room, the area where the students hang out. And she says, I was reading the Sun newspaper, this really trashy.
No.
And I was shouting some childish, sweary abuse at one of my friends across the common room in this bright yellow luminous shell suit. And I don't know, she had some chemical imbalance and she sort of went, he's the one. And she spent
I'll have that one.
nearly 30 years, and I think she spent nearly 30 years regretting it.
We've got Vera in the comments. Hi Vera, who's brilliant comments by the way. Said like an inflated banana.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Very good, Vera. Thanks for that.
Yes, Vera. Yes. Imagine an inflated banana reading a tabloid newspaper and swearing loudly, and that was my wife's first image of me. It's
the heart came out, hearts in the eyes.
So the banana shell suit, it worked, and then obviously you guys got married, and then you got a lovely daughter. Tell us about her and what's your relationship like?
She's the best, but I am a bit of a vampire, really, as all writers are, because I steal everything from her. Obviously, for the children's book. I mean, one of the books I wrote was literally about her in the womb. I wrote a book, Be My Baby, My Journey Towards Becoming a Father. So she was already being written about literally before she was born.
Aww.
And then when she came along, I would observe her and I'd write columns about her. And then famously, when I lived in the east coast of Singapore, we bought her this Dora the Explorer suitcase for Christmas. And shortly after, it's fascinating watching. She was walking from room to room with this suitcase, providing real-time commentary. And it was hilarious because she'd walk to the kitchen and she'd say, right, I'm going with my magic suitcase and I'm going into the kitchen, and now the kitchen is America. And to her, the magic suitcase had transported her to America. And she'd go in the bedroom and say, right, the bedroom is now the Philippines. And then she'd go into the bathroom and we'd have these arguments because she'd go into the bathroom and she'd say, the bathroom is England. And I'd say, wait. Why does my country have to be the toilet? Right? Why can't it be something else? And she'd say, okay. I'm from England, right? I'm from London. Yeah. So don't make the toilet England, right? Do something else. She'd go, okay, Daddy. So she would take the magic suitcase back into the toilet and she'd say, right, the toilet is London. Now you're just doing it deliberately, right? You're just doing it to wind me up. But, I realized that this sweet 3-year-old girl, slightly younger even, 2.5, 3, was, in her mind, it was perfectly logical that this regular suitcase was a portal. And she saw nothing unusual about that because everybody knows the greatest imagination is children anyway, which gradually gets chipped away with cynicism and knowledge. And the greatest imagination is always a child. And so, I stole from her completely. And, I named it after her.
Yeah.
Abby Rose and the Magic Suitcase. And now it's been turned into a digital app, which is going out across Asia. And you mentioned the TV series, which is maybe happening later. And that all started from that day when I saw her transporting herself to different countries with her suitcase. So I've been stealing from her, leeching from her, robbing her of her intellectual property in the womb.
It's okay. She's earning her keep. That's fine.
She's gonna pay this back. You know she's
pay you
gonna
back.
pay this back to
Yeah,
you.
she's
When
gonna
she
pay
reaches
this
the 21 years old, she's gonna play this back and ask for her 20% cut.
IP lawyer. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, you're an IP lawyer. I have something to show you.
Yeah, exactly.
The show called Dear Future Grandkids is still on YouTube.
Yeah. It's so true.
Actually, Neil.
The day she understands royalties, I'm done.
Yeah,
you're
you
done.
are. With the looks that up.
Done.
Yeah. And actually, one thing I really notice about your books, Neil, is I love the titles like Marina Bay Sins, A Royal Pain in the Class, Nightmare at the Museum. I think they're just so puntastic. Are they something you agonize over? Because they're really funny.
Well, thank you. And yes, they are. They take ages. The Royal Pain in the Class. I'm just thinking. I'm guessing no bad language on this, right?
Keep it
No.
clean, dude. Keep it clean.
What's that?
Keep it clean, dude. Keep it clean.
No, I will. So obviously, what a Royal Pain in the Class is punning, right? And I went to do this talk, this public event in the atrium of a shopping mall here called the Forum, which Jen will know. It's predominantly for children. It has tuition centers and children's boutiques and bookshops and so on. So the whole mall is young families, children. And this very energetic, young, excitable MC had the sound system for the whole shopping mall. And he went, and now Neil Humphreys is going to tell you all about his royal pain in the... and just said it to all these kids. And the parents going to the kids... I won't actually say that during the storytelling pun. So that one, so the story's about an 11-year-old girl who who's a princess who has to leave her country because there's a civil war, and so she ends up in a rough kind of working class neighborhood, housing estate, and she can't say what she really is. So it was my way of talking about rich-poor divide, which I'm seeing a lot now, even in regular classrooms in Singapore. Why it's important, why it matters. So I knew she was. So I had princess, undercover princess, princess in hiding, all of these things, and then royal, and it took me, Ange, it took me ages. That one ages.
It's a good one.
And then some of them are just straight.
Got it.
And then some of them, even I'm not saying which ones, but even now I'm still not entirely happy with them. The title I'm least happy with is probably my very first book, which is arguably my best-selling book, and I still don't like the title to this day. But
What's it called? What was it?
It's called Notes from an Even Smaller Island.
Oh yeah.
And the reason, you probably know why I don't like it, but the reason it's called that is, I'm doing this in real time, I'm punning this guy. Now,
Bill Bryson
is the god of travel writing, humor writing, and he wrote a book on Britain. He's an American living in Britain, called Notes from a Small Island.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Got
it.
Outsider with an insider perspective. So a previous publisher, not the one I'm with now, but a previous publisher said, Notes from an Even Smaller Island.
Got it.
Which I agree at the time is a funny title. It's a quirky title. And it did help me to sell books. I mean, shops like Kinokuniya even put mine against, next
Side
to
by
Bill
side,
Bryson's
yeah.
in the shop. But now looking back, I'm kind of a bit, I didn't need to rip off somebody else's title to sell books. It's a bit cheap and but it worked. It worked. I don't think Bill Bryson was happy about it, but it worked.
You're not ripping off. You're paying homage. And there's that subtle difference, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I love it because it's really hard. I think it's always really hard to come up with titles. And it's hard it's that borderline between super, super roll your eyes cheesy and that witty, puntastic kind of. So I love them. I love the titles. So catchy.
Well, this is where,
this
is where, just briefly, where my daughter comes in, because she is the greatest critic in the world, because she is the most lethal. Anyone with kids, you guys,
oh,
you've got to know this, right? She will
Dad.
just say, that chapter is boring.
Oh, look at her.
And I'll know because she'll start going on the phone. I'm like, what are you doing? You lost me after the first page. And honestly, it's like a knife to the heart. But
My
publisher
you worked so
wouldn't
hard
say.
on it, right?
She's also the demographic.
Yeah.
So she's probably right. If it must be boring. And likewise, to your point, Ange, she'll say, that's a cheesy title. That's crap. That's rubbish.
Yeah.
She'll just say it. And she'll do the whole whatever, the whatevs, get the whole loser, anything.
Yeah.
The eye roll, everything. She'll
The
just
eye
tell me
roll.
it's rubbish. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my nieces and nephew watch Dear Future Grandkids, right? And they're always going afterwards. They're going, Auntie, that was so lame. But they're always right. They go, I can't believe you said that, Auntie. Lame. They're always right. They're absolutely right. I call them not my muse. I call them my amuse. They're my amuse. I couldn't do anything without them.
Yeah.
So Neil, we've come to the part of the show now. We want you to grab your phone
Okay.
and leave a meaningful voice message for someone special or not so special in your life.
I'll put
And
my earphones on.
While you're putting your earphones on, just say hello to Kawaii Donna, who said Neil's very handsome. Thank you, Kawaii. And Faith, who says that Abby Rose is very talented. She is indeed. And Vera thought you were talking about pork ham, not West Ham. That's what you said since you were a kid. Pork ham since you were a kid.
Same difference.
Thank you very much, everyone, for your comments. They've been fantastic.
Tracy, someone just called me handsome.
Actually, she called you Pogi in Filipino, which is handsome. It's actually called borderline handsome and cute.
Oh, good one.
Kawaii.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Porgy. Yeah.
Pogi.
Right, whenever you're ready, Neil, just leave a
Alright.
voice message. Yeah. Don't tell us who the person is.
Do it to the phone, right?
Yeah, so we can hear you. Yeah.
Voicemail.
Yeah, and record it.
Hang on, I've just lost my StreamYard. Oh, he's letting me in now. Is he letting me in?
You don't need to be in. No,
You didn't, just on
grab just WhatsApp.
a WhatsApp voice message.
You don't need to
Oh,
be
you want me to literally do it?
Yes.
Yeah, literally go to your WhatsApp, press voice message, and
Send it
and
to
say
someone.
something.
To that person, and make sure
Got
that
it.
person gets it.
Okay, I will do
Okay.
that now. Here we go.
No, sweet.
Dear
Live.
future grandkids, don't take your clothes off on the first day of school. I did it, and I've never forgotten. Okay? The poor kids didn't eat French fries for a whole week. Number 2, future grandkids. If you ever visit Singapore and you're male, and an auntie cleaner comes in behind you while you are going to the toilet, don't worry about it. It's normal in Singapore. All right? Don't start screaming at the urinal. Okay? You just scare yourself and the auntie cleaning the toilets. It only happens in Singapore. Don't take it personally. Okay? Right, that's number 2. Now, a more serious point. Never let anyone tell you what you should do when you grow up. I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up, and I'm 46 years old. I'm quite happy just to go my own way and make it up as I go along. You can do exactly the same. You'll always meet people telling you what you should and shouldn't do. That they're saying more about them than they are about you. Okay? So there's only one voice that matters, and it's yours. That's the only voice that matters, your own. Okay? So I was told when I was growing up, you can't be an author, you can't be a writer, you can't do anything creative. People from your working class background, doesn't work. Only rich people can be authors and writers and this and that. Don't listen to those voices. Only listen to the one that matters, yours. Okay? So to sum up, future grandkids, listen to your own voice. Do what you want to do. And most importantly of all, future grandkids, do not take your clothes off in public places. Good luck.
Neil, that's wonderful. And for the first time ever in the show, you've changed everything. Because you normally leave a voice message for someone special, and then at the end of the show we get you to give wisdom or give advice to your dear future grandkids. But you, of course, you can see the future. You've predicted that, and you've answered the question even before we can answer that. So Neil, on this note, thank you very much. Thank you so much for being on the show. We have thoroughly enjoyed the whole hour. We got to learn all about you, your books, what motivates you, your wonderful man cave as well. And thank you so much for your time. And hopefully we get you back on the show again. What about you, Ange? What about you, Perci? What were your thoughts about Neil and the show today?
I learned so much about the 3 things. Huh? No, but it's true. It's true. Listening to your own voice, I think, Neil, I can relate to that thoroughly because, most creative people have been told that you're not going to make money out of this. This is not a real job. That's that sort of thing. It's going to be heartbreaking. It's going to be difficult. You know how many creative people there are that's buying for whatever. But it's true what you said. Just listen to your voice. It's what you want to do, then go for it. That's inspiring.
Yeah, I thank you, Neil, so much. It's been such a breath of fresh air. You have such a wonderful take on the world. I love the crap that's in your house. I love it all.
I don't like your Hulk without you.
I don't like your football team, but that aside, I mean, there's so many things. Of course, one thing that will stick in my head is I've never had anyone say to me, I can't be an 11-year-old girl in the morning and a serial killer in the afternoon.
If that's not good advice, Ange, I don't know.
Exactly. And also, I know, and I think that's so wonderful that you said you're 46 years old and you still haven't got a clue. I mentor a lot of graduates, postgraduates all the time, and I feel so sorry because they don't know what to do with the rest of their life. They don't know their purpose, their passion, and all of this kind of stuff. And I think it's so refreshing to hear that you don't have to know. You don't have to have the secrets of the universe. You don't have to have one thing that you're aiming for in life. You don't have to have that one big passion. You just keep taking it a day at a time. Wake up in the morning, procrastinate a bit, create a bit, have a bit of fun, steal ideas from kids around you and nick them, and you'll have a good life. and you can make a living from that. So I think it's great. Thank you so much, Neil. It's been fantastic. I could talk to you all day.
No, it's been my pleasure, guys, and I've really enjoyed it. Actually, it's been a lot of fun. So thanks for having me.
Thanks, Neil. Thank you so. Yeah.
And thanks to everybody who watched the show, everybody who's left comments, and everybody who's watching now on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Neil. So good to see you again. Neil and I worked on a football show that talked about the Premier League for 3 seasons, and it was a good time, and he's doing so well. Thank you so much, and thank you all for watching. Once again, I've been Jien, that's Ange, that's Perci, and that's our wonderful guest, Neil Humphreys in Singapore. Make sure you buy all his books and tell his daughter that he owes her a lot of money. Thanks for watching. We'll see you the next time. Take care. This has been Dear Future Grandkids. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.